Hi, welcome to the podcast Ease into Clarity. I'm Dr. Divi, family doctor turned intuitive coach, and I'm here to help you. In this podcast, we will learn mental techniques, emotional techniques, and spiritual techniques to change daily problems. So maybe it's your husband, your boss, your coworker, your kids, they're driving you crazy. You can email me any of your questions and I will use all the techniques I've learned over the years and help you. Grab your hot chocolate and make sure to subscribe. We'll see you soon. Ciao. Hi, I'm Dr. Divi. Welcome to the podcast, Ease into Clarity. So today we're going to be talking about emotions, emotional intelligence, emotional awareness, one of my favorite topics. And in fact, I believe one of the most important things you will ever learn in your life is about your emotions. There's a really fantastic book called Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Goleman that I really recommend to everybody who's newer to the topic of emotions. He has a quote, and he has many quotes, but one of his quotes that I love is emotional intelligence is the key to both personal and professional success. Isn't that something we all want? We all want to be successful in all areas of life. And sometimes we think, okay, I have to go to school for 80 years to get successful. I need to know that person and that person, that person to climb that ladder. But the true key to success, Daniel Goleman talks about, Stephen Covey, who wrote 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, amongst other books, all talk about emotional awareness. And emotional intelligence is the key to improving your personal effectiveness. Just think about that for a second. Think about it for a minute. Like, you and I must know people who we would call not emotionally aware. And what the studies have shown is emotional unintelligence. People who aren't as emotionally aware actually have difficulty managing their lives, managing their situations, managing others. And emotional intelligence is actually the key to rising above any situation at all. Anything at all requires emotional intelligence. So the first thing we're going to talk about is, why as a society are we not willing to feel? Why in 2023, soon to be 2024, are people still talking that these people just don't feel? Why is that? Here are some common reasons that we don't feel. Number one, we weren't taught to. If you're not taught how to do something, you aren't taught how to tie your shoes, how will you ever know? If you're not taught to feel, then you won't. Another common reason people don't feel is because they're commonly discouraged to feel, especially men. You know, if you feel, you're a wussy. Dry up those tears, go to work. We're not taught to feel. It's discouraged. A third reason, we don't know what to do with our emotions. If they come up, oh, what do I do with this? I'm joyful. I'm angry. What do I do? So it's like we don't know how to process our emotions. As a society, we actually think, female or male, if you're overly sensitive, if you feel too much, that equals weakness, that equals bad. So don't be sensitive. The last one I've written down is why we don't feel, because we are so busy trying to fix everything. If I fix it, if I make it better, if I do this, so we're covering up our true self. But at the end of the day, our feelings are actually the key to a happy life. Our emotions are the key to a joyful life. Our emotions are actually the key to the law of attraction. Most humans nowadays have heard of the law of attraction, which simply says that which is likened to itself is drawn. So with the law of attraction, it's all about energy. It's all about emotion. So I want to feel joyful. I want to feel joyful. I want to feel joyful because I want that man. I want that woman. I want that job. It's all about emotions. So if you've been playing or dancing with law of attraction for a bit, guess what? You're going to want to know your emotions. Let's spend some time talking about how, as a society, we numb out emotions. And given that I do this for work, you would think, she doesn't numb her emotions. Of course I do. I'm just as human as you are. But I'm going to give you a long list, and I will tell you that where I am now, I've been on this journey for about 25, almost 30 years now. Where I am now is completely different than when I was 25 years ago. So I'm going to give you a list as to why people numb out their emotions and see if any of them sit. We talk a lot. We love to talk. And when we talk a lot, what does it do? It keeps us in our heads, keeps us thinking, and it keeps us away from feeling. So talking a lot is a great way to stay away from emotions. Another one, we stay busy. I got to do this, then I got to do that, then I got to do that. We have lists as long as my arm. We stay busy. Another common one, we check our phone a million times a day. We check our phone when we don't need to. There's nothing on the phone. We have all the notifications open, so it beeps all the time. Somebody liked your Instagram. Oh, those are ways to avoid your emotions. We distract ourselves. We gotta do this, we gotta do that. We constantly in distraction mode. An obvious one. We eat too much, we drink too much sex, too much drugs. All addicts will tell you the key to one of the keys as to why their addiction took off was because they weren't willing to feel. All addicts will tell you that is a way of numbing their emotion to some degree. Another reason we stay away from emotions is we stay busy in our head. I'm going to think this problem through. I'm going to solve it in my mind. I'm going to think. Another way we avoid emotions was we avoid conflict. We avoid certain people. We avoid situations. I'm not going to do that because if you do that, you're going to feel something you might not be ready to feel. So we avoid. Another great way we numb ourselves for emotions is we blame everyone. It's their fault. It's their fault. It's their fault. Another way where we blame everybody and then we never pause. We never pause to go, what's happening and what do I feel? A really common one that I see all the time, and I've got them too, good old AirPods. I'm listening to music all the time. I've got a book on tape, but it distracts myself from being here, being now, and feeling. The last one I wrote down that I think that I'm totally guilty of, we overexercise. I'm going to go do this. I live in Vancouver, which most of you know. Vancouver is a beautiful city. If I really want, I could golf today, then I could ski tomorrow, then I could go hiking the next day. I could do it all in one day. We can overexercise, and that's a great distraction from feeling. I'm going to run through a short list of benefits of feeling emotions. We talked a bit about law of attraction manifestation. It's one of the best reasons to want to feel. You'll become a better manifester. That's not a selling point. I don't know what is. We heal our illnesses. All pain in the body is related to an emotion. We can heal our illnesses when we're willing to feel. We will feel happier. We will, if we're willing to become emotionally aware, we will be able to move through crappy emotions easier. We can take self-responsibility for our lives. We can hold more gratitude. We can truly be of service to others, and we can have more compassion. Isn't that an amazing reason why to become emotionally intelligent? So in this last part of my podcast, I'm going to share 4, 5, 6 steps into how to start to feel. Because guys, this is the deal. In my next podcast, an upcoming podcast, I'll talk about what to do with your emotions. But let's first talk about how to start to feel. One is slow down. Unpack your day. Put less things on your day to do. Create time every day to just be. I'm not talking about just being by exercising. I'm not saying just be by watching TV. I'm just saying just to be. Sit back and just be. Second thing I'm going to ask you to start to do if you want to become more emotional intelligent, breathe belly breathing. Breathe slow breaths into your belly. And we'll practice that at the end of today's podcast. The third thing that will help you to become emotionally intelligent is to pause. Ask yourself every 3 or 4 hours, how do I feel? Just a simple question. If you've never seen, there's a list that you can find on the internet called The Emotional Scale by Abraham Hicks. It's a list of 22 emotions. And what I would recommend you do is you take a picture of that and walk around with it on your phone. A couple times an hour, say, how do I feel? The last thing I would ask you is, when you identify how you feel, and let's just say it's a good feeling emotion, like, I feel peace right now. I feel happy right now. I feel passionate right now. What I would ask you to do is try to see if you can increase that. See if you can turn that volume up. More love, more freedom, more appreciation, more gratitude. So as I wrap up today's podcast, let's spend a few minutes just in a slow breath meditation. It's probably the key to actually feeling, because this is the deal. Emotions are energy in motion. Every part of our body holds a feeling place. And sometimes anger gets trapped in the liver, fear gets trapped in the stomach, fear and worry get trapped in your lower back. So we have to be willing to feel. In order to feel, we have to slow down and breathe. So go ahead and close your eyes. And with your eyes closed, just take 5 or 10 deep, slow breaths. Let's you and I exhale together and inhale for 1, 2, 3. Exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. The next few cycles of breaths, I'm going to purposely add some pauses. Now, instead of breathing to 3 and 4, you can breathe to 5 and 6. And what I really want you to focus on is the pause at the end of the inhale and the pause at the end of the exhale, because that pause is like the plug outlet to what you're feeling. So again, let's exhale together and inhale for 1, 2, 3. Pause the breath and hold it. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause and hold the breath. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause and hold the breath. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause and hold the breath. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Absolutely beautiful. Let's do one more cycle of breath. And in this last part of breath, we're actually going to breathe into the belly button. So you're going to actually feel the belly rise and feel the belly fall. And by doing that, you emphasize what's called your parasympathetic nervous system, your calm nervous system. That's going to help you to feel more too. So let's you and I exhale together and inhale, hand on the belly. 1, 2, 3. Lift that belly up. Exhale, 1, 2, 3. Let that belly fall. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Belly rises. Exhale, 1, 2, 3. Let the belly fall. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Belly lifts. Exhale, 1, 2, 3. Belly falls. We've meditated for a couple minutes now. If you have the time, the energy, and the space right now, spend a few more minutes here in quiet, contemplative meditation. It is the key to feeling, and feeling is the key to healing. It's been absolutely beautiful, and thank you for sharing this time with me on this podcast. And again, if you've got questions, you want some help, feel free to email me through easeintoclarity@gmail.com, and I'll bring your question onto the podcast. Sending you lots of love. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me in this podcast, Ease into Clarity. It is such a joy, pleasure, and honor to be in your living room. What I would love is if you follow me on Instagram, drdivi, or go to my website, drdivi.com, or write a review. That would be even more amazing. Thank you. If you really enjoyed this podcast, feel free to share it with friends, family, tell them to follow me, because I think the more of us that listen to the fact that each of us can start to shift, each of us can shift mental things, emotional things, spiritual shift, to shift our daily reality. When more and more of us do it, we get a better planet. We get more love. We get more happiness. We get more joy. So I'd love it if you followed. I'd love it if you shared this, because it would be such a joy and an honor. And again, if you have a question, guess what? I'm here for you. So send me an email, easeintoclarity@gmail.com, And as they come in, I will answer them in podcasts that are subsequent, whether it be your boss, your relationship, your husband, whatever. That's what I'm here for. Because the more of us that learn really simple mental techniques, really simple spiritual techniques, we change the physical reality we live in. Pretty soon we have more peace, more ease, more joy trickling across the whole world. Remember, there's a spiritual solution for every problem. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.